Now, you struggled at the end, Coach. You played ACC teams that are always difficult. It's a difficult conference. There's 6 of them in the Sweet 16. Are you surprised you're in the Sweet 16? You said you're not surprised that you made the tournament. Are you surprised you got this far?
You know, I mean, we knew coming in we had a tough game against Dayton. We had lost to them 2 years ago. They won part of the championship in the Atlantic 10 this year, which was a very good conference, as St. Joe's showed and VCU showed in their tough losses. So we knew we had a tough game, and then, you know, we were looking ahead. I mean, if you look ahead, you're thinking Michigan State, they're a 1 seed or 1A seed. So, yeah, we knew it was going to be tough, but we played pretty well against Dayton, and you know, turned into an easy game, which was surprising. And then I sat there and watched Middle Tennessee, and I'm thinking, this team, they could win. I kept thinking, well, you know, they're not going to win. They're going to be really close to winning, but they're not going to win. But they just kept making plays, and near the end, you weren't sure who you wanted to play because they played well. You know, what people forget and don't really know is Michigan State shot 55% from the field and 47% from the three-point line and lost. Mm-hmm. Usually when a high seed gets upset, it's because they have a bad game. They didn't have a bad game. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be a little surprised. I go into the tournament thinking we can win the next game no matter who we're playing every year. And, you know, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. But you have to think that if you do the things you would like to do in the game, you can win. Coaches always think that. I mean, coaches can be 30-point underdogs, and they think if things go a certain way, we can win. And that's the way you have to think. Players have to think that way.
Coach, take us through the process. Like you said, you're watching that game fully expecting to play Michigan State, and then you begin to realize, you know what, we got a plan for Middle Tennessee. So how is that process of going from probably focused more on the Spartans and now have to worry about the Blue Raiders?
The way we've always done it, we have one assistant coach take the week preparation for Michigan State and another assistant coach take Middle Tennessee. The same preparation, same cut-ups of tapes. But
do you put the better assistant coach on the team that you think you're going to face?
No, actually, our 3 are all pretty equal. They all scout. They all, you know, will do a scouting. During the year, they'll each take 10 teams if we play 30. And so each one can do it. And at tournament time, they take, you know, I watch the game, and my other assistant watched the game, and we try to, you know, it wasn't too hard to figure out that you couldn't let Giddy Potts, one of the best names in basketball, you couldn't let him shoot. You know, he's 50% shooter from the three-point line. So you pick up some things, but we had him pretty well scouted and looked at the tape and got ready. I mean, everybody would, you know, naturally you would not want to play Michigan State if you don't have to, but when I watched Middle Tennessee, it wasn't like I was happy to be playing them because they played very well. They won a tough conference tournament and, you know, had a great year. So we played 2 good games in the tournament, and that's what you have to do. You get to this tournament, you got to play well. And we had 2 exceptional games. You very seldom get 2 easy games in terms of the last 10 minutes where you're in good position. That very seldom happens in the NCAA tournament. So we're happy about that. I'm happy for this team. They were up. It was an up-and-down year, a lot of changes, and we played well in the beginning. Then we had a bad middle part. We played well even at the end. You know, everybody talks, we kept going over 5 losses. Well, 1 was at North Carolina, 1 was at Louisville, and 1 was at Florida State. So, I mean, it's not like we're on the road against, you know, NCAA type tournament teams, and we were 2 down at North Carolina with 40 seconds to go and 2 down at Florida State, and we're tied with Louisville with about 5 minutes to go in the game. So we were competitive in all those games, and of course we knew we had good wins at Duke and Texas A&M and Connecticut on a neutral court. So we felt we could get in the tournament. And once you get in, the seed doesn't really matter if you play well. If you play well, you can have a chance to win.
Now, you've ridden your zone to the Hall of Fame, Coach, and to a national championship, and it seemed like Middle Tennessee had never seen the zone. And they talked about your zone is so effective because of the length of the players. Do you think a zone like that plays well in the tournament? Because a lot of teams don't face a team that's so good with a zone like you.
I think it helps us a little bit, but teams beat our zone. It's not like it's some magic weapon. A good zone is a good zone, and gives you a chance to win. But for us, our offense has to be good, and we have to rebound. And then if those things happen, and then we have a good chance. But there's no magic formula with the zone. I mean, before the game, Middle Tennessee's players were saying, well, we've seen zones before. After the game, they changed it a little bit. But, I mean, it's all about our players. They're playing well. It's not really just the zone. It's really that our players are playing well. We have 3 freshmen, and they struggled at different times throughout the year, but they're playing pretty well right now. And our 2 senior guards have played well all year, and we've got 2 juniors that have started to get better, play better. So we've got a good group that's playing pretty well, and I believe they have a chance to win against anybody. And that's the beauty of this tournament. It's already been proven over and over again that, you watch these teams play. Stephen F. Austin, a really good basketball team, Middle Tennessee. I mean, you don't beat Michigan State unless you're pretty good. It's not a fluke.
Now, you mentioned, and the reason I ask is because you mentioned in the paper, Pittsburgh, we just don't beat. So did you advise Jamie Dixon to take the TCU job or what?
Yeah, that was a good thing. I mean, we were, up until the last 2 years, they had a little edge on us, but we had beaten them 2 times in a row, and then all of a sudden last year we let one get away, and then this year we let the championship or in the ACC game get away, and all of a sudden, you got a 5-game losing streak. So no, it hasn't been pretty against Pittsburgh. They played well. I'll give them credit. They played really well against us. I laugh. I watch them on TV, and they don't make the shots that they've been just making against us, and we're a pretty good defensive team.
Right.
So it's just kind of fluky. We've had some more success against certain teams. Sometimes it's styles. Sometimes it's just confidence. And there's some teams we've beaten 4 in a row that have beaten Pittsburgh 3 out of 4. So it's just the way it is in college basketball, and you kind of have to roll with it. The key is to get in the tournament, and we got in, and then the next key is winning in the tournament. So we're happy to be where we are. I'm happy for our players. They had to go through a lot, and for them to get in this tournament and to be in the Sweet 16, I think it's a great credit to them. And I've been fortunate. I've been to 16, 17 Sweet 16, so I've been lucky. But it's not because of our zone that we get there. It's because of our players. We have good players, and they play hard, and they deserve this.